Good evening and welcome to Pride Matters here on CP24, a week-long celebration of Toronto Pride. I'm your host, Cynthia Loist. Tonight, love and family. Always a big hit of the Pride Parade is the P-Flag contingent. Parents, families, and friends of lesbians and gays will talk to one couple about the importance of supporting their gay son. We'll also talk to the organizer of Yogapalooza at Pride. She's Muslim, and she's here to tell us about how she came out to her family. And there are more and more children being raised by gay parents. We'll talk to two dads and hear about their unique family. Welcome back to Pride Matters. Coming out can be a difficult process, but even more so if you're coming out to a family that holds traditional religious values. Salimah Laka is here to tell us about the challenge of coming out to her Muslim family. Welcome.
Hi.
I'm curious, you had told me earlier about when you knew that you were gay. So tell me about that.
Yes. It happened when I was 3 and 4.5, actually. Mm-hmm. And my mom was throwing a party for her brother who had finally met a girlfriend. And as a 4-year-old, I thought, this is very boring. And then the woman walked into the room, finally, and I went, I'd throw a party for her. And it was that moment of recognizing and acknowledging an attraction. And that's, the beginning of many special things.
But you didn't come out at 4 years old.
No, I didn't, put on a rainbow flag, but I did really for myself acknowledge that, my path is going to be different.
So at what point did you make the decision, imagine you go through your teenage years and you begin seeing people. So at what point did you decide, okay, I'm going to come and talk to my family about this?
Again, prompted by my mom. She had gone to see a psychic, and the psychic said, everything's fine, but your eldest daughter is not telling you something. And sure enough, my mom being my mom, sat down and said, so, what are you not telling me? And I said, Mom, that friend that I have? Well, that's not just my friend. That's my girlfriend. And she was really very special about it. She said, I said, do you need to talk to somebody about this? And she said, actually, I'll speak with my creator.
And she's very spiritual.
She was, yes. Her response really, for me, signaled something about the fact that when you have a challenge, that there is a higher force that you can turn to within yourself to come to a greater answer.
So she came back to you and said what?
You're my child. I love you. And that's unconditional.
And what about when you told your father?
And my father, same thing, really a concern for a parent, I think, is always security and stability and support. Will you have the kind of partner who will honor, love, and cherish you? And that was his concern, and it's, as every parent should be. About the destiny of their child. And he's always been very welcoming of anyone I've brought home. So I have to say I have stellar parents.
Yeah, were you surprised in a way? Because I think there's this idea that anybody who comes from a religious background where homosexuality is not necessarily embraced, that there might be that issue that you come up against. Were you concerned or worried about that?
I wasn't. I'm so thrilled to be able to say that. I know that's not everybody's reality. But I think what it does do is it's a testament to a spiritual life where you say, we want to uplift the community, we want to be honest, and we want to be unconditional about how we love each other.
Absolutely. I'm going to throw to just a little clip here. Now, everyone who has grown up religious can understand that there's many different ways in which homosexuality can be taught about. But imagine growing up with the Reverend Fred Phelps as a father. In case you don't know who he is, he's the head of the Westboro Baptist Church in the U.S., and it's famous for his anti-gay protests, even outside funerals. His favorite saying is, "God hates fags." I recently spoke with his son, Nate, who isn't gay, but certainly doesn't hold any of his father's prejudice. Take a look.
Of all groups that have been affected by my family, this group has been affected the most.
What What specific messages to do with homosexuality were you given growing up?
Well, similar to what you hear out there today in their picketing, there was a special place reserved in hell for homosexuals. My father believed there was some passage in the New Testament that talked about God gave them up to their vile affections, and he interpreted that to mean that was a sin that you couldn't come back from.
When you were growing up, what did you think about homosexuality?
You kind of have these impressions of these Satan worshipers, this dark, shadowy world, and these people had made the decision for whatever reason to turn that direction, and that they were evil. There's a lot of individual gays that I have communicated with who are really hurt by this message. Some of them take it to heart, and they believe that there's something wrong with them. Yesterday afternoon, I got an email from a young man. It was about 5 pages long. He's gay. And he had a lot of problems when he was younger with it, and then he kind of grew into it and felt like that it was something that he could get comfortable with. And then he came across one of my father's videos on YouTube. And he believes that he is not only himself condemned, that he's a vessel of God's wrath, but that he is in some way responsible for the suffering of people all over the world. Because that's kind of the message they have, right? And he's terrified. He thinks I'm his final hope. That's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
But I also think, though, that if nothing else speaks to the value of what I'm doing, that does.
So Nate Phelps is an inspiration in that he's taken this very destructive message and turned it into, a whole life course of protesting against his father's messaging, which is fantastic. And you, who have grown up in a world of being very embraced, you also, though, have taken some of these ideas around sexuality and spirituality, and you've channeled it and made a totally different life. So tell me about what you're doing for this Pride.
Okay. Yogapalooza.
Yogapalooza.
5,000 people in Queen's Park for movement, music, and meditation. So we've got some drummers, we have some dancers, and really a festival within a festival, and an opportunity to explore Pride from a different angle. This is the first time Pride is offering yoga at a main stage. And, this city has a love affair with yoga. It has a love affair with Pride. And it's an opportunity to bring those two pieces together and really offer a celebration of love and peace and pride. In Queen's
fantastic.
Park. Yeah.
So it'll be Queen's Park, and this is on...
It's on Sunday, 12:30 to 1:30.
And anyone can go?
Anyone can come, all ages, all sizes, all abilities. And if you're not overly flexible, please don't worry about it. We've designed something that's going to be very straightforward.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And just if you had any advice for anybody who themselves was worried about, even in Nate Phelps' situation, like living with people who have a message of hate towards homosexuality, or they themselves wanted to come out and felt that they were concerned that their family wouldn't accept them, what would you advise?
Right. I think, every day when you look in your mirror, that's who you have to really be with. And it's a process. Every day of coming out, of being who you are, is a process. So coming out when you're 4 years old and coming out when you're older in life, they all mark a change in our lives. And when we come out, the entire community is uplifted. And that's my belief. So one step at a time, one truth at a time, and do what's right.
Thank you so much. I hope people go out to Yogapalooza. What a great name.
Yogapalooza.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll meet Ella's two gay dads. Stay with us.